A not so happy Independence Day. That's the topic of tonight's Byline. Call me old-fashioned, but I love America. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the vision of the Founding Fathers, and that can-do American spirit. But what the hell happened to them? The 4th of July commemorates the U.S. adoption of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, declaring independence from Britain. The reason the colonies wanted to separate from Britain was, well, to reclaim old rights. Specifically, they were being taxed without representation in government. I say that spirit, to reclaim old rights, well, it's needed now more than ever. See, Americans, well, they've lost virtually all their constitutional rights. Just look at the First Amendment in the Bill of Rights. That protects speech, religion, assembly, and the press. Well, how are they doing on upholding all that? Well, today there are enacted laws like H.R. 347 that allow Secret Service to arrest anyone protesting near the president or any other designated individual, which, well, it explains why Steve Howards was cuffed in front of his 8-year-old son in a mall for simply criticizing Dick Cheney to his face. He was later charged with assault. While the NSA is spying on U.S. citizens and collection of metadata, well, it's a clear violation of association, but more on that topic in a minute. And it seems to me, if one even dares to exercise one's First Amendment rights, well, there's a decent chance that they'll be labeled a terrorist. See, the Obama administration is using anti-terrorist laws to crush dissent. According to the U.S. military organization called the Asymmetric Warfare Group, we'll just look at some of their grounds for suspected terrorism. Social networking can get you the label of terrorist. No, not just because you're part of some ISIS recruitment page. That would be far too specific. If you've recently changed your choices in entertainment, or you have peculiar discussions, or you complain about bias, you're socially withdrawn and frustrated with mainstream ideology, your risk factors for radicalization, as they put it, well, then they're apparently high. One Department of Justice funded manual outlines bumper stickers considered terroristy. Under one slide of that manual, entitled General Right-Wing Extremists, well, suspicious bumper stickers that warrant further investigation by cops conducting stops at various stoplights, they're outlined. The bumper stickers that you need to look for read as follows: know your rights or lose them. Ooh. If you love your country, then the UN is not your friend. Ooh, what a terrorist. And get the U.S. out of the United Nations. And if that's not enough, one Department of Homeland Security promotional video, which characterizes white middle-class Americans as the most likely terrorists in America, well, that 10-minute clip includes a myriad of different behaviors of suspected terrorists, including opposing surveillance, using a video camera, talking to police officers, wearing hoodies, seriously, people, driving vans, again, very seriously, writing on a piece of paper, and using a cell phone recording application. And finally, the DHS Behavioral Science Division, well, it pointed to the following as indicators of potential terrorism: being reverent of individual liberty, having a belief that one's personal and or national way of life is under attack, and being anti-abortion or anti-global, and finally, being suspicious of a centralized federal authority. But what about that amendment, more American than apple pie? The Second Amendment, of course. All I can say is thank God for big bucks organizations like the NRA, whose mandate, well, it matters now more than ever. Look no further than Bloomberg's campaign, Feinstein's war on Mr. and Mrs. America, as she refers to you, by the way, and Obama's gun proposal, which included 23 executive actions and 3 presidential memoranda. It's clear the Second Amendment, well, it's under attack in Congress and outside of her walls. The Fourth Amendment, on the other hand, which prevents unlawful search and seizure, well, it's being trampled every second of every day. Your government, America, is spying on everything you do without any concrete benefit or justification. In fact, Georgetown professor of constitutional law Randy Barnett wrote this in the Wall Street Journal, that the type of spying that's being carried out by the NSA and other agencies is akin to the general warrants issued by King George, imposed on the American colonists, which, by the way, hastened the Revolutionary War. And while I really don't have enough time here to comb through the entire Bill of Rights, suffice to say that the Fifth Amendment, which affords Americans due legal process, well, that was shredded the day the American president said that he can assassinate or indefinitely detain Americans on American soil without any due process of law. Don't believe me? We'll take it from the second most cited law professor in America, Jonathan Turley. Here he is on C-SPAN.
President Obama just stated that he is going to maintain a policy that he can have any American citizen killed without any charge, without any review except his own. If he's satisfied that you are a terrorist, he says that he can kill you anywhere in the world, including the United States.
It's terrifying. Folks, I haven't even touched on America's decline abroad. Obama giving up Bush's win in Iraq, playing mouse to Russia's cat in the Middle East and Eastern Europe, of course. It all amounts to a tectonic shift, which will have ramifications for the entire globe, even for us here in Canada. But how can America stand up for what's good and right abroad when they aren't even doing that in their own backyard? One point of similarity between 2014, today, and the time just before independence in 1776 is the widespread disassociation between the American people and their political system. It's easy to blame politicians and system failures, but we'd still be missing the individual, and, well, that ain't all too American to me. America, your declining feelings of freedom, well, they're well-founded. But falling victim to the blue state and red state mentality, well, it only allows politicians to deflect criticism, referring to the other side as the greater evil. Time to stand up to the Orwellian nanny state you now live in and reclaim your true identity, affirmed in your laws as a beacon of liberalism and rugged individualism. And that's the byline.